Hello, soul searchers. So before we get into today's reading, I did just have to come on camera to explain and clarify a couple things because what I had originally planned to do with LP is not what ended up happening. When I tell you LP was supposed to have an entire exhibit on my website, that is no longer the case. I've worked on multiple projects with her. Some of them you guys are going to see. Others of them you will not. And that is just as it's meant to be. When you hear me referencing things on my website or like seeing it on my website, yes, it's posted to YouTube. It's only on YouTube. It's not on my website. It's simply because things shifted at the very last minute from what I had originally intended for LP. And yeah, I didn't feel like re-recording. I didn't feel like trying to edit out all those little bits. So if you hear anything referencing my website, there's nothing at this time for LP over there. It's strictly here on YouTube. Secondly, that brings me to the bigger question, which is, who is LP? Again, I was going to have an entire exhibit dedicated to this, but long story short, LP is an energy, and that is really all I can call her. That's all I'm going to call her. You can interpret her as you will, but she's just an energy I've been working with, and she's helped me realize a lot of stuff about myself, brought up a lot of things that I needed to understand about myself. She's helped me wrap some stuff up. And also, obviously, as you will see, she has inspired me a ton. You should have seen the video that I posted yesterday. The song is titled LP. And I've been working with her for at least 8 months, but I'm inclined to say a year simply because I've noticed that when energies are trying to get in touch with me, especially new energies, they kind of gotta fight through to get to me. Like, it usually comes up later and I can see like, oh, you were even reaching out to me then, but it's like after we make contact finally that I realize that. And usually yeah, they have to be quite noisy to get my attention. I don't know, I'm just deaf to the world. So anyway, I've been working with her for at least 8 months, but I am inclined to say probably more of a year that we've been interacting on some level. So that is LP. That's the short, sweet version. We're still trying to figure out like how much to share of her, so that's really all I can say right now. But I did just want to clear up a few things because I know all of this information and all of this content is coming out of nowhere. It was supposed to be a bit more organized on my website, and you know, we just have to go with the flow over here. When we get new information, we have to run with it. So that is what happened. But in any case, let's get into the reading because that reading is long enough. Hello, soul searchers, and welcome back to my website. This is actually in a whole other spot. But welcome. So if you're here, you should have seen the exhibit to LP. You know a little bit about who we're working with here. So yeah, we're just gonna do a general reading with LP. I do have the Rider-Waite-Smith deck here. I just feel like working with her energy, I need something that's super clear. And I don't need another deck that's coming from another perspective. And then off to the side, I also have some Loteria cards and tablas. I don't know for sure if I'm going to use those, but I definitely felt called to pull them out and get them ready. So we'll see what comes of that. Thank you so much for all of your guidance, wisdom, love, and support. I ask that you please continue to come through the Rider-Waite-Smith deck in my hands. Thank you so much for connecting with the energy of... Actually, no. Rephrase. Thank you so much for all of your guidance, wisdom, love, and support. I am very grateful to have you here. It's been very eye-opening. So I did a reading with her, was it yesterday? I did a reading with her at some point in the past week. And I basically just asked, like, what do you want people to know about you? And that's the interview portion that you guys should see on the website. So I'm trying to figure out, I kind of want to ask that same question, but specifically, like, without touching on the same topic. Like, she's going to have to tell me something else. Like, what do you, maybe not even about her, what do you want people to know in general? What energy do you want to discuss? LB, what energy do you want to discuss? Six of Cups. Bro. So, I'm pretty sure, I basically asked previously, like a few days ago, what the energy of doing different projects with her was. And I asked about general readings as well as pick a card readings. And I want to say general reading was 4 of Wands, which is pretty good. And I want to say pick a card readings was 6 of Cups. I could have those two mixed up, but I know for sure that one of the reading options was 6 of Cups energy. So she wanted me to do both, or at least they both felt promising, but yeah, it was just like the energy's good, but they're different. And so it's interesting that 6 of Cups is coming out. If that really does represent the pick a card, she's basically saying that after this one to definitely go watch the pick a card. I will confirm on screen whether or not I'm remembering that correctly. The notes are in my laptop and I just don't feel like opening that and entering the password and all that shit. So I will let you know in editing whether or not 6 of Cups represents the pick a card. If it does, make sure you watch the pick a card reading that should be posted below this one. Or I might make it OnlyFans exclusive. I don't know. We'll see. Besides that, there is an energy here. 6 of Cups has been coming up a lot for me recently in discussion of soul retrieval. And I feel like this is actually the point. I feel like this is the bigger point. Like, yes, do go watch the pick a card, but also the bigger point is about soul retrieval. This cup is really sticking out to me, and I've looked at this card and this deck a million times. I'm also seeing 525 on the camera. This cup is specifically sticking out to me, and there's something, cups recently came through to me as puddles of reality. In this case, it's really coming through as an emotion. There's like an emotional reality. And there's, with whatever part of your soul needs to be retrieved or is trying to be retrieved, there is an emotional connection point. There's an emotional resonance point with some part of you from your past. So let's just say you want to retrieve, and this may not even be you on a conscious level. This may be like a higher self you, because I am noticing that this child is taller than this one. 616 on the camera. Okay, so a lot of, I think those are called palindrome numbers. I think so. I could be wrong. Anyway, it's basically saying the same thing. I'm also getting Meet Me Halfway by Black Eyed Peas. I need to listen to that. That's a dope ass song. Anyway, what she's saying here is that whatever part of your soul or your past or your inner child, whatever it is that you're trying to retrieve and get back, or whatever it is that your higher self is trying to retrieve and get back, you have to meet it at an emotional resonance point, at an emotional connection point. There's something about numbness coming through. So, I'm being guided to talk about myself just a little bit here. That even in and of itself is a trigger for somebody. Like, somebody's like, of course, another spiritual leader who just wants to talk about themselves. 727 on the camera. Or another spiritual junkie who just wants to talk about themselves. Just ego tripping. So there's some religious trauma maybe for somebody. That's kind of specific, so that may be for just a couple of you guys. what I'm being guided to talk about is how recently I've been feeling like volatile, like just raging, like little shit that I used to be able to let go, be the better person, quote unquote, dust it off my shoulder. It's like a lot harder to get in that sort of energy. I am less and less these days do I want to be the bigger person. More often than not, I want to instigate some shit because why are you trying me? And I know that's not safe. I know that's not the best character. But here lately, like literally for the past 6 months, so literally since the beginning of this year, I've just been angry or easily upset. Like I can have an entire good day, but one little thing will set me off. And there's something about that even though it may not feel like the highest vibration, it's exactly where I should be. And same for you. There's something about how it's childlike. And that's exactly kind of the place we need to be in for whatever soul retrieval we're trying to have. And this could look a little different for everybody. Some of you, or some of us are trying to retrieve hopes and dreams. Some of us are trying to retrieve the energy, like the optimism. Some of us are trying to retrieve a certain way that we were. Maybe we were more confident, more loud as a kid, or just when we were younger. So this is a little different for everybody as far as what's trying to be retrieved. But the point is, this helps me. I'm sorry. My hand is just going to be here because this helps me. The main point here is that you are feeling something. It doesn't matter what you're feeling. Not in truth. Usually this card represents nostalgia. In this reading, that's not what she's talking about. LP is specifically talking about getting your feeling back, getting your emotions back. And they aren't necessarily all going to be good. They don't even have to. That's not the point of soul retrieval. The thing is, there's an energy of numbness. I said that earlier. And something about adulting. It's like you grow up and life just kind of loses its magic. It just starts to feel a little stale. Sometimes, not all the time. And especially if you're somebody who scrolls on social media, you might want to take a detox, because part of why your life is feeling stale is because you're watching these really exuberant, one-of-a-kind lives play out on social media instead of going out and trying to build something like that or even a fraction of that for yourself. So definitely, if you've been feeling guided to take a social media break, do that. But the point of soul retrieval is just to get yourself back, just to tap back into that inner child, that inner knowing, whatever it is for you, whatever that thing is that you lost that would really help propel you forward now. It's about getting that back. And this isn't a belief that I actually have, but in this case, in this reading, it is almost like the ends justify the means. So, and not literally, this isn't excusing just any sort of bad behavior, but in this case, I just saw the Page of Wands come out, and Wands is this is Page of Swords. And Swords is communication in the mind. So yeah, this isn't about needing to be in any particular vibration. It's needing to be in a particular behavior. So again, going back to when we were kids, I'm seeing 1212 on the camera. You didn't necessarily feel like you had to be perfect, or you had to be stoic, or you had to be emotionless, or you had to be smart, or you had to be this, you had to be logical. Like, you didn't feel any of that when you were a kid. Like, you hadn't been fully indoctrinated yet. But as you grow up, of course, you get indoctrinated, and suddenly you're kind of just a program running. The point of this soul retrieval is to get you back to a feeling place, because not feeling anything or being super practical all the time that is it's part of what's making life so stale. It's part of what's making it hard for energy to move. It's basically the root cause of whatever block you're feeling right now. Wherever you're feeling blocked, whatever block you're feeling, it is due to some sort of stagnant, stale energy that hasn't moved, and it has something to do with your emotions. That's why I said there's a sense of numbness. And if none of this is resonating, then it's not for you. Feel free to stay, but just, use it as entertainment, I guess. Make sure you take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Because this is kind of specific, but also something that I think a lot of people can relate to. It's something that a lot of people can relate to, but the emotion is very specific. Numbness has never come through in discussion of emotions for me. Or it might have, and maybe it's just been a while. I can't remember. Anyway, let me drink some more water. I'm trying to see if that's it for this card. She's really driving home that it's less about what you're feeling. There's a lot of emphasis, especially in the spiritual community, that you need to feel good emotions in order to go good places. And that's not necessarily true. It is in a sense, but I'm being given levels. Like, there are different levels to this game, is how she's putting it. There are different levels to this game, and you're not at that level yet. Because the thing you can't do with energy is fake it. So, you can watch funny shows or comedy movies or, go out with friends every now and then. But if that's what you do on a regular basis and that's what you've been doing, it's probably starting to feel a little stale. It's not that you need a new show or a new movie. It's not that you need a new set of friends. There's something within you that you're searching for outside, like in the external world, that only you can give you. And that's a little harder, right? Because it's a lot easier to go to a substance or this or that to make you happy than it is to try to generate that happiness from within. Because usually when you take some time to sit with self after a certain period of time, I'm seeing 1555 on the camera. When you take some time to sit with self after a certain period of time, you might realize just how many emotions are there, and a lot of them are not the happiest. A lot of them are going to be a little heavier. And so there's almost this, knee-jerk reaction to like suppress it or distract yourself or keep moving. Like, think about something else, like get into a new vibration. Abraham Hicks and different channelers, they preach this a lot. And again, I'm not saying they're wrong, but there are different levels to this game, and we're not at that level yet. If you're watching this and it's resonating, that's not the level you're at. The lever, interesting. Pull the lever, crunk. Wrong lever. The level you're at requires authenticity. It requires true feeling. Here's the thing. I love how this is just one card and this is, wow, 17 minutes in. Beautiful. Here's the thing. It's important to do this soul retrieval in order to open up the emotional flow, the heart chakra, the energetic flow. Those channels have to be open in order for you to receive. What a lot of us are trying to do, and this isn't coming through as a judgment, but it's just kind of an explanation as to why manifestations and different things like that aren't working. What a lot of us are trying to do is take our blocked heart with us to, let's say this is level 1, and this is level 2. So we're trying to take our blocked heart here, up here, and we can potentially even get up here, whatever this represents for us, right? The issue is that because energy isn't flowing, eventually this will turn stagnant as well, and we may get into self-sabotaging behaviors. We may push a lot of people away who otherwise would be nice collaborators or friends or partners or whatever. It's like because that energy isn't flowing, it's not being super authentic, it makes it a lot harder for us to attract because that wall is up, that barrier is up. So that has to be let down in order to really receive whatever's on the other side of this card. Okay, in this case, it's the Page of Swords. So this Page of Swords, this came out earlier too, so I feel like I should keep it. Yeah, and I'm noticing all of the blue with the throat chakra. So this is absolutely talking about reframing. Reframing your mind in general, but it's kind of going to start even with this specific soul retrieval that you're trying to have. Again, it's like trying to manifest and trying to feel the good feelings, but not having, from your perspective, not having a lot of good going on. Like everything just feels still and stagnant, and so you can't really get into that good energy that you need to keep the good energy flowing back to you. It's like even when you're doing something, it might be coming from a less sincere place. It's coming from a place of, well, I need to get in a high vibration, let me do that, instead of a true internal high vibration. I hope this is making sense. She really wants to explain this, but I don't know how to make it land, so I guess I'm just gonna have to accept that if it's for you, it'll find you, it'll resonate, and otherwise, again, I just thank you for watching for entertainment purposes. Brother, okay. So she wants to talk about soul retrieval. Part of soul retrieval is this Page of Swords energy. Page is the student. Swords is like mind and the mental space. So this is the person that studies, that is really into the books. You can be a student of a lot of things. Page of Pentacles I almost consider to be like a student of life, which it doesn't even matter. I don't even know why that just came up. But this is the page that's really going to be in the books. He, she, they are really going to be thinking about their communication and why they communicate in a certain way. Interest in the mind and neurons and things like that could be significant. Like very science, logical left brain here. And I'm noticing how, is it left brain or right brain? Whatever the logical brain is. I just saw 2121 on the camera. As I said that, so there's like a sense of letting go of that logical brain a little bit, because that logical brain is the very thing that has us numb. The thing with the Page of Swords, I'm noticing how he's looking back at this Six of Cups, and even just the way that he's looking back, that represents kind of looking at the past. So this could be maybe needing to look at your past and reframe some things. Maybe you've always felt like you had less than, but when you look at your past and the way you grew up, you realize that you really kind of learned how to make your own entertainment. And so going out and doing all of these other things that people like to do just doesn't hit as much as you expect it to, because you always kind of felt like you were missing out. Like growing up, you may have always felt like you were missing out because you couldn't go to Six Flags, you couldn't go to Disney World, XYZ. But you realize maybe now, or maybe you're being asked to realize everything that you did have at that time. And also, the main one that's sticking out, the main belief that's coming up with these two is just the need to look at your emotions differently. Number one, put the logical brain to the side just for a second and allow yourself to feel something. And when you do finally feel that something, don't immediately judge it. Don't immediately judge it as good or bad. Just allow yourself to feel it. When you were a kid, you were not concerned about whether an emotion would be considered good or bad or professional or. You didn't give a fuck. You just felt it. And that was as it should be. The people who really love you will understand and forgive you and maybe try to get you some help. I don't know why that's coming through. Someone may have a really bad temper, really feel like they need to get some assistance or some therapy or something. Do that. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need anyone else to vouch for you. If that's what you feel like you need to do to be a better person, do that. There's something here about being very hung up on other people's approval and perception. Specifically with this Page of Swords, that's what's really coming through, is something, it gets hung up and allows you to not do this soul retrieval or to really accept this part of you or come back into touch with this part of you because you're still trying to keep up some sort of facade or perception. You don't need it anymore. 2442 on the camera. You're on the other side of that. You don't need it anymore. You also don't need to walk on eggshells to make everyone else happy. You're the one who has to live in your body and your mind with yourself. You have to be happy with yourself. Page of Swords also just got very quiet. So this is definitely the challenge right now. It's interesting because Page of Swords doesn't necessarily strike me as quiet usually. It normally does strike me as being quite childlike. In the sense that like they just kind of think before they speak before they think with the Page of Swords. It's very quick communication. They're not really fully aware of the impact of their words or the things that they say. And I'm kind of getting an image of someone when they were a child, like single digits, saying something and being immediately reprimanded, potentially trigger warning. I don't know. I feel like, okay, I'm going to do a trigger warning here. Because I'm getting an image of a kid saying something and then being reprimanded or whooped or spanked. And that was the terms that your parents or your guardian used. But the way that you received it was as abuse. And that's why I'm putting a trigger warning, because your experience, how you receive that, is valid. Impact over intent. So if that's you, I am so sorry. But it basically, there's something like, even if it wasn't physical like that, maybe just a verbal reprimand kind of felt the same way because some of you guys were very sensitive. And so yeah, it basically just leads to this stuck energy. Because eventually you learn, oh, let me not have an outburst. Let me not say what's on my mind right now. Let me not do this. Let me not do that. And you get it from all over the place, right? You get it from school. You get it from friends. You get it from your parents. And so eventually you just learned to really filter yourself a lot. But that does stagnate the energy. That does make things stale. If you're not feeling the bad, then you're also not feeling the good. And it's really kind of pointless, because in trying to avoid the bad, you ever notice how you're kind of like consistently feeling bad for a while, and then something worse happens, right? Like something that, you know, you're like, oh, I don't have any more tears to shed, and then some shit happens, and who knew, you actually do have more tears to shed. That's kind of what's coming up. It's like it's pointless to even try to not feel bad, because life is gonna life, but what's happening is that you're not allowing in any of the good emotions while trying to build a wall against the bad ones. There's something about when the wall was built coming up. It's like that always breeds the opportunity for triggers. I feel like I should have like paper and pen or something to sketch out how I'm seeing this, but it's kind of hard to. Honestly, I just don't think I'm a good enough artist. I'm not gonna lie. So let's just say you, like, I'm getting an image of you building up a wall against negative emotions, right? And it's keeping good stuff out, but also the good stuff still kind of hits up against it. Like, it still kind of bounces off of it, rings against it, so that you can see it's there, but you can't really feel it. And then something bad might happen, right? And it just triggers you because it's resonating with the material of the wall. Like, those are almost kind of like closer to the same vibration, so that's what kind of leads to triggers. This is all very metaphorical and like visualistic. I'm sorry if you're not a visual person. So yeah, all you're doing is kind of breeding an environment for bad stuff to percolate and continue to circulate while keeping good stuff out. But it's like just out, just outside of your purview. Interesting. Okay. There's also something about reframing Page of Swords with the Six of Cups. This page, as he's doing the soul retrieval, he's actively looking at these different situations, these different scenarios, these different pivotal moments, and trying to find another meaning for them. So, kind of like how I said, as a kid, you may have felt left out of like all of the stuff that people were doing. You didn't go out to eat very often. Maybe you didn't go to Six Flags. You didn't go to Disney World, all of these other places, and you always felt like you were missing out. With this Page of Swords, there's something about going back to that time and trying to feel more into what was happening around you. Not what you were missing, but what was happening around you. Feeling into the joy of those moments, because you were happy, or at least it feels like you were happy. Minus in the case of like the spanking scenario. Knight of Pentacles. I just got Ordinary People by John Legend, and specifically the part Take It Slow. Take it slow. Oh, oh, oh. This time we'll take it slow. So somebody here might have tried to do some soul retrieval before and went balls to the wall with it and may have ended up triggering themselves. I don't know why that's kind of coming up with that song, but this time just take it slow with yourself. And then Four of Pentacles at the bottom. This is kind of reminding me of that wall analogy I just had. I don't know why this is kind of taking me to like another type of spread. So hold on. I am noticing all of that yellow on the Nine of Pentacles, though. I'm being guided to ask what's at his head. This Knight of Pentacles, what's at his head. Alright, and then what's under his feet. So this one will be 2. And the battery's about to die. Alright, what's at his head and what's at his feet? Whatever this is, it is going to be a slower process. Knight of Pentacles. Listen, it took you years to build up all of your walls. It took probably more than a couple people to make you conform, make you feel numb. So it's going to take time to break those walls down. Just enjoy life. Enjoy the journey. Again, with the Knight of Pentacles, there's also a lot of yellow, so definitely get into that solar plexus energy. And I do notice that usually if I'm getting a message about the solar plexus, very often I will get a message about the throat chakra as well. These two seem to be very connected, at least when I work with one. The other tends to come up. And it does make sense because, did I say sacral? I meant solar plexus. I'm sorry if I said sacral. The solar plexus chakra is all about willpower, confidence, strength, energy, vitality, and then the throat chakra with all of this blue over here is all about expression, and not just like creative expression, talking, dancing, painting, but also expression in the way you live your life, in the way that you present. And so, yeah, they do tend to be very tied because you kind of need one in order for the other to really thrive. You kind of need to have an understanding of your truth and how you want to express in order to have the confidence to express it. If you don't feel confident in it, then anybody can kind of sway you into looking or molding you into what they think you should look like or be like. On the other hand, if you have issues with confidence, it might be hard to vocalize your opinions and to really express your truth and how you are. So anyway, what's at the head of the Knight of Pentacles? Head is kind of like higher self. This is interesting. So I'm getting 7 of Swords. 7 of Swords is all about thievery, mischievousness, but also I'm being reminded, one of my favorite tarot readers, literally probably my favorite tarot reader on YouTube, Rosology, she broke this card down one time and basically was like, he's being deceptive because was it Rosology or did I get that from the Rider-Waite Smith book? I think it was Rosology. Anyway, she said that this isn't just regular deception. This is also a card about learning how to fight battles in innovative ways, because this guy is basically at war, and instead of fighting them directly, he's stealing their weapons. Interesting. This soul retrieval is very interesting. And I'm noticing too how 7 of Swords is facing this way, whereas Page of Swords is facing the back. So there's something like while you're looking at this scene here, you're getting this piece of self back. There's another part of you, maybe like a higher, I did say higher self, that is gathering weapons for you. I don't know how else to put that. I feel like that shouldn't even be clarified, honestly. I'm getting hot as I'm saying this, so there's something about how that's like I'm being brought back to the message about rage with the 6 of Cups. It's like you might be feeling a lot of rage. That is kind of symbolic of the sort of weapon that you're getting. Not to say that you are becoming an angrier person or you're being asked to be violent. That is not the case. Whatever work you're doing for soul retrieval, like in my case, the work that I'm doing as far as soul retrieval is going back to my quote unquote imaginary friends, 535 on the camera, fulfilling my dreams on my own. It definitely doesn't look like how I expected, but I've still written books, I've still released music, and I did everything I said I wanted to do, and I'm just learning to own that, even if it's not perfect. 555 on the camera. So yeah, like as I'm doing all of this inner work to retrieve that hopeful part of myself, there is a higher self that is now I am a little curious as to why he has to steal these weapons though. But you know, I'm on my business. I'm like, is there only so much joy to go around? Like what is happening? Bro, I'm getting hot. Hold on. Because that is actually something that she wants me to flesh out. Seven of Swords. The guy is specifically holding 5. He's specifically holding 5 swords. And then there are 2 that are still down on the ground. So that's bringing me to the 5 of Swords and the 2 of Swords. 5 of Swords talks all about ego. And 2 of Swords talks about keeping the peace. Okay. There was a part of you... This is what you're trying to retrieve or come out of. This is what you used as a defense mechanism. And I think it's showing up as higher self because there's a part of you that still has to like look at that head on and recognize that that's what happened. So 7 of Swords, this is kind of what we've been talking about this entire time, right? With how you put walls up to protect yourself. You're literally keeping the peace by donning this logical or stoic ego that really isn't making you happy. And there's something about how that was always a part of your soul path. Again, if this is resonating, because this is tied to the Ori, it's tied to the head. It's not necessarily your higher self that did this, that played this game, but it did allow for you to play this game, because you're playing the long game with the Knight of Pentacles here. Whatever it is, it was a part of your soul journey, your soul growth, your soul lesson, whatever you want to call it, to don this mask and play this stoic character, and to realize that that wasn't ever going to reap you the rewards and the fulfillment that you're looking for. Whew, I am cooking over here. Have mercy. Again, I keep getting, you're on the other side of it. So yeah, it's like you're on the other side of this lesson. You just have to make sure you're like fully integrating the information that you're getting at this time, and it's part of the emotions that you're feeling. I think you're just realizing, I just got like a feeling of, you know what, I know I'm tripping right now, but at least I'm not faking it. It's like, you know I'm jealous for no reason right now. I know I'm angry over something small, but at least I'm not faking like I'm fucking okay like everybody else. I just got Breakdown by Mariah Carey and Bone Thugs and Harmony. So yeah, some of y'all just need to have a breakdown and like be comfortable with that. Be comfortable with having it. Fuck it. Life is hard. Anybody who's pretending like it isn't is either lying or they are beyond blessed. Or some of you guys may feel like you're behind, and I promise you, you are absolutely not, especially with this Knight of Pentacles and this 7 of Swords here. What I'm getting from these two is that this was literally what was supposed to happen the entire time. You were literally supposed to play this game of donning some sort of protective barrier and going through life with it, with all of this armor, and stopping to pause somewhere to realize that maybe this isn't what you want to do anymore. That was always the point. Let's see what lies under your feet. Page of Cups. You have a lot of pages. This is a lot of new, youthful energy. Page of Cups and Knight of Swords. Can y'all see this? Because this spread is doing something different. I was just about to do my regular little 3-card spread, and she was like, Which, you know what? Hell yeah. Do we really use all of these decks just to do the same thing with them? Like, come on. All right, so Page of Cups, Knight of Swords. So we have Page of Swords and Knight of Swords. And then Page of Cups. What's under your feet? What I'm getting here is like earth energies. Not necessarily ancestors, because they don't necessarily have a blood tie to you. But just earth energies that have some sort of resonance point with you in order to like assist you with this work that you're doing, with this soul retrieval. Page of Cups is like offering up an emotion, right? It's offering up an emotion, and I'm getting, pick a card, any card. Page of Cups is like offering up different emotions. Pick an emotion, any emotion. And the Knight of Swords is racing towards that to amplify it. And so, and again, all of this is basically, this may not be the most helpful for everybody, because I know these specific types of messages can actually be a little distressing for people. So another trigger warning, we're going to start talking about like fragmentation, shadow work, for lack of a better word, but I'm really getting it as fragmentation. It's like these different aspects of you. The Page of Cups and the Knight of Swords, that's still you because it's under your feet. But they're doing work on your behalf. And the work that the Page of Cups is doing is offering up these emotions. Knight of Swords is working to amplify it, to see what sticks, to see what will get you moving. Again, it doesn't even matter really if it's joy, pain, sadness, anger, hope. It doesn't really matter what it is. Nostalgia, that just came through. It doesn't really matter what the emotion is. It more so matters that you can feel it, to have a breakthrough, to break down that wall. I'm getting an image of the wall just like being flooded with emotion. And so that's why a lot of these emotions are probably more heavy, because you're more equipped, for lack of a better word, to actually feel them. Kind of going back to that analogy with the good emotions just kind of bouncing off the wall instead of being allowed to penetrate through. Meanwhile, the bad ones, or the ones we deem as bad, are kind of allowed to go through the wall because they resonate a bit easier. All of this is just trying to get you to feel something so that you can retrieve that part of you that didn't feel the need to mask, so that you can move forward. Literally, that's the entire point. It's not about right or wrong emotions. I just got Meow Sean's Mercy, which is a song that I wrote, actually. Oh my god, that's... I've never gotten my own song intuitively. That's crazy. Fuck, I forgot what part it was. It's not about what you're worth, what you deserve. Not who hit first, got the last word. Just mercy. So you might feel called to work with Meow Sean as well if you're resonating with this message from Ellapi. Ellapi, has her own exhibit. She has her own song. But yeah, I love that just came through. even if you don't feel called to work with Meow Shan, it could just be a need to give yourself some compassion. You don't have to be perfect and happy and cheery and chipper and stoic and logical and responsible all the fucking time in order to gain approval. You already have the universe's approval, and really no one else has a right to approve of you. We're all just humans here. Nobody actually has that authority to shun another person for just expressing whatever it is that they need to express, you know? Okay. I'm going to lift this up a little bit more. Alright, and then on the bottom of the deck, we actually have the Ace of Swords. All about new communication, new ways of using the mind. I often say that I feel like Ellaby is an air sign with a lot of fire placements, because when I work with her, it is swords and wands all over the place. This actually had no wands. That's a first. So, but we still have a ton of swords. Page of Swords, Seven of Swords, Knight of Swords, Ace of Swords. More than half of the spread is swords, so I'm pretty sure she's an air sign. She's like, why is this so hard for you? But yeah, it's about a new way of using your mind, using your memory. Something about memory is also kind of important. Coming back to like reframing those memories. Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. I'm going to ask her a question real quick. What's the result if I do the loteria? What's the energy of me doing the loteria part as a part of this video? The Lovers, Strength. And then I'm seeing the Devil, the Tower, and Ten of Wands. Literally, bro. Alright, I guess loteria might need to be its own thing, because I'm getting a lot of wishy-washy energy, and I don't like that. So, so I'm going to leave it here. I hope this helped, resonated. If nothing else, I certainly hope it entertained you guys. I am very grateful for your energy. Make sure to check out the pick a card too if this really resonated, because I feel like she might go into more detail there. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much, Ellaby, for all of your guidance, wisdom, love, and support. We are truly grateful. And yeah, for all these things, we just want to say thank you and ashe. I'll see y'all next time.